What if you stumbled upon an old coin, maybe while cleaning out a family heirloom box in the attic, digging through a jar of pennies that's been collecting dust in the garage for years, or perhaps during a casual visit to a thrift store or estate sale? And what if that seemingly ordinary penny turned out to be one of the rarest, most mysterious, and astronomically valuable coins in American history? A 1946 wheat penny that at first glance appears just like the millions of others produced that year, yet in reality holds a secret so profound, so elusive, and so historically significant that it has driven collectors, investors, historians, and coin hunters into a frenzied global search. A coin so rare that its true worth has been appraised at an earth-shattering $92 million, yes, 92 million US dollars, a mind-blowing amount for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent. And it all starts with understanding what makes this coin so special, minted during a turbulent period. Following the end of World War II, when the US Mint was transitioning from using recycled war materials back to peacetime production, a time when coins were struck using leftover brass shell casings mixed with copper, resulting in unique compositions that varied from the standard specifications, and within that chaotic, transitional minting environment, certain extremely limited runs of the 1946 wheat penny were produced under exceptional and undocumented conditions, some struck on experimental planchets, some with minting errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or even mismatched die pairs, and a few were accidentally created with compositions never meant to enter circulation, such as bronze or steel planchets left over from previous wartime years, and these ultra-rare anomalies have become the stuff of legend among numismatists, with stories passed down in collector circles and forums for decades, leading to a near-mythical status that has now entered the mainstream thanks to viral videos, social media posts, news articles, and auction houses stunned by the astronomical prices these coins have fetched. And of all the 1946 pennies ever made, only a handful are believed to be these ultra-rare, high-value versions, some known to exist in pristine, uncirculated condition with flawless strike clarity, razor-sharp detail, and preserved luster that suggests they were never meant for everyday use. And one such coin, certified by a top-tier grading agency with a nearly perfect MS-68 grade, featuring a distinct double die on Lincoln's portrait and an unusual copper-zinc alloy composition verified through metallurgical testing, shocked the world when it was sold at a closed-door auction attended by billionaire collectors, museum curators, and private investors, ultimately reaching a final sale price of $92 million, instantly making it the most expensive penny ever sold and forever altering the landscape of coin collecting, sparking an explosion of interest not just among veteran numismatists but also among regular people across the globe, inspiring treasure hunts, attic searches, and mass reevaluations of pocket change, with some families uncovering life-altering wealth in the most unexpected of places, and as more stories of surprise finds make headlines, like the man in Ohio who found one in an old shoebox of his grandfather's, or the woman in Arizona who realized her childhood coin collection held a fortune, the buzz around the 1946 wheat penny continues to grow louder and more intense, driving even more people to learn about grading standards, mint marks, die varieties, and the subtle details that separate $1 million coin from a common cent. And as interest continues to surge, the market for rare U.S. coins is experiencing a renaissance, with financial experts now seriously considering rare coins as stable, appreciating assets in diversified investment portfolios, even being recommended by some wealth managers as part of estate planning strategies due to their rarity, tangible value, and historical significance. And yet, for all the buzz, fakes and counterfeits are also on the rise, with unscrupulous individuals attempting to profit from the craze by artificially aging coins, adding fake mint marks, or tampering with the weight and composition to mimic authentic rarities. Which is why professional authentication and grading by trusted entities like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, is absolutely essential before attempting to sell or insure any coin suspected to be of high value. And as media coverage expands and documentaries explore the fascinating histories behind these coins, the legend of the 1946 wheat penny only grows, with some experts suggesting that the total number of ultra-rare variants may be fewer than 10 in existence. Possibly even fewer, making it one of the scarcest collectible items in the world, and speculation continues about who might possess the next great discovery. Could it be lying in a mason jar on a dusty shelf, tucked inside a childhood coin album, forgotten in a safe deposit box, or hiding among a coin roll picked up from the local bank by a hobbyist? And as more collectors and hobbyists join the hunt, online communities are sharing tips, posting high-resolution photos, debating error lists, and encouraging others to keep searching. Because the next person to stumble upon a $92 million penny might be someone just like you, someone who never expected their life to change with the flip of a coin, someone who one day casually opens an old drawer and finds their entire financial future gleaming back at them in coppery brilliance. And if all of this has made your heart race, if your curiosity is now piqued and your hands are itching to go digging through your own collection, don't waste another moment. Like this video right now to help us grow and reach more treasure hunters just like you. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss an update on the latest rare coin discoveries and million-dollar finds, and hit that notification bell to stay informed, because your next big financial breakthrough might not come from a paycheck or a business deal. It might be waiting for you inside a humble little penny, minted in 1946, now worth a history-making $92 million. Next, 1953 Dewey Penny. Have you ever wondered how a single seemingly ordinary coin could hold within its metal face a fortune that would make even the most hardened treasure hunter's heart skip a beat? Makers of time and fate twisted in such a way that the 1953 Dewey Penny, a small copper disc minted in Denver in the heart of America, transcended its humble origins and became the stuff of legends, whispered among numismatists in hushed tones, scrawled in fevered posts on collector forums, and dreamed about by anyone who's ever held in hand the possibility of a hidden fortune. Picture this: a routine penny, part of the everyday currency of its day, circulating through pockets and purses before being tucked away in coin albums or forgotten in drawers, only later to be rediscovered with eyes glinting at its crisp detail and mintage rarity. In the world of coin collecting, every date, mint mark, condition grade, and misprint matters, and for the 1953 Dewey Penny, that combination has conspired to imbue it with near-mythical status. Despite the literal value of 1 cent, whispers circulate that exemplary specimens in mint or near-mint condition, especially those bearing errors, could fetch astronomical sums at auction, with valuations stretching into the tens of millions, or in our hyperbolic telling, $64 million. A number so staggering it challenges belief yet speaks to the fevered dreams the coin ignites in collectors around the globe. The story begins with the Denver Mint's output in 1953. Though many were struck for everyday use, only a handful survived the ravages of circulation unblemished. The wheat reverse design, 2 sheaves of wheat flanking the motto, E pluribus unum, was by then nearing the end of its 30-year run, and coins from this later period are scarcer in top grades. Over the decades, serious numismatists pored over inventory catalogs, mint records, and auction data to isolate which 1953 Dewey pennies existed in mint state 65 or higher, how many had been cross-graded or regraded, and how many bore errors or varieties, double dies, off-center strikes, lamination flaws, die cracks, all of which elevate rarity and desirability. A few of these coins have made headlines when sold in private sales or at elite auctions. One in near-perfect MS67 grading reportedly went for a price that caused jaws to drop, though credible documentation and verified provenance always remain contentious in numismatic circles. Enthusiasts point to that single sale as proof that at the extreme upper bounds, a 1953 Dewey penny could command enormous sums, and rumor has inflated that to $64 million in speculative conversations, though no public auction record confirms such a price. Still, the tale enthralls because the coin's trajectory from humble cent to potential multi-million-dollar gem encapsulates the magic of numismatics. The way historical context, rarity, condition, collector demand, and even mythology combine to create something more than metal. Consider how many people today own red copper 1953 D pennies in circulated condition, the designs intact, edge details visible, and patinas softening the surfaces, a modest coin of perhaps few dollars value. Now contrast that with the tiny sliver of examples preserved in pristine state, untouched by time or handling, which sit under protective flips or in high-security vaults, their owners whispering about future auctions. Across coin collecting forums and social media groups, posts pop up titled, 1953 Dewey penny worth millions? Or, did you see that $64 million penny rumor? And replies swirl. Some dismiss it as fantasy, others argue from known sales, others hope that the next discovery in a rare variety will finally shatter records. Podcast hosts recount dramatic narratives of estate auctions where a tiny copper coin was pulled from a forgotten box and, under the glare of professional graders, revealed as the finest known 1953D, a jaw-dropping moment akin to discovering a lost painting in an attic. In such retellings, the play of light on crisp lettering, the sharpness of the Victor David Brenner portrait, the subtle sheen of unoxidized copper, the cleanliness of the fields, all become heroic details in the saga. Some collectors even speak of buying the dream, purchasing coins in the mid-budget range in hopes that one might hide certification or grading surprises, then sending them in to grading services for re-examination. If one emerged with a high enough grade and proved authenticity and provenance chains, the speculation could become reality. Meanwhile, coin experts issue cautious disclaimers. Official auction records for 1953 Dewey pennies top out much lower than $64 million, often in the 5 or 6 figure range, depending on condition and rarity, and such astronomical valuations remain theoretical. But the legend endures because it fuels imagination, drives collecting trends, and compels people to search through pocket change, coin collections, and estate lots. In taxonomic tables listing mintages, survival estimates, known population reports, and grade distributions, the 1953 Dewey penny occupies a unique locus of possibility, not the rarest of all U.S. coins, not the most famous, but tantalizingly positioned such that under perfect combination of traits, it might become legendary. The competitive spirit among collectors fuels incremental bidding wars. One specimen in MS66 might sell for 6 figures, prompting buyers to chase MS67 or MS68, to hypothetically press upward until the price curve bends steeply upward toward the mythical zone of multimillion-dollar bids. And so the rumor circulates, a top-graded 1953 Dewey penny is worth $64 million. Not because anyone has definitively paid that, but because the potential seems to stretch when conditions, narrative, and collector mania align. Stories proliferate of wealthy hobbyists pooling capital to bid in consortiums, of high-profile lawyers and celebrities dabbling in coin collecting and chasing headline-making acquisitions. If one coin achieved such a price, the ripple effects would steal the legitimacy of modern coin investing as blue-chip collecting. Everyone would scramble to re-examine dusty collections, bring in long-time inherited penny jars, and reassess valuations in catalogs overnight. But until then, the legend remains part myth, part possibility, part marketing-fueled aspiration. It's the whispered $1 million penny. Version 2.0, updated for the 21st century, fueled by online platforms. The fusion of documented auction sales, plausible grade extrapolations, speculative high-end bidding curves, and collector psychology gives the $64 million figure a life of its own. So when someone hears 1953 Dewey penny worth $64 million, seasoned collectors smile knowingly, novices grow wide-eyed, and everyone debates, is it conceivable? Could a future buyer settle for that price? If the coin is truly unique and in perfect condition, perhaps in a sealed discovery trove, could the moment arrive when metal, myth, and money coalesce to make it real? Until such a sale occurs, the coin remains iconic not solely for what it is, but for what it might become, the small, unassuming red penny with the faint whisper of eternity and value woven into every detail. And so that travelers of time who hold a 1953 Dewey penny in hand, whether circulated and dull or gleaming and graded, may dream, is this my ticket to numismatic immortality? If you enjoyed this journey through the legend of the 1953 Dewey penny and want to hear more stories where humble objects hide astonishing value, like and subscribe and keep your eyes peeled. your next treasure might be tucked in your pocket without you ever knowing. Next, 1945 wheat penny, yes, just one humble little coin, that reportedly reached a staggering value of $37 million due to its unique combination of errors, mistakes, and historical anomalies that make it one of the most intriguing and talked about pieces in the numismatic world. And as unbelievable as that may sound, once you understand the details, the history, the minting flaws, and the astronomical rarity of this particular coin, you'll begin to see how something so seemingly insignificant can be transformed into a collector's dream worth tens of millions of dollars. And it all starts with understanding the background of the wheat penny itself, a design that was in circulation from 1909 to 1958, featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse, a symbol of agricultural abundance and American values. And while most wheat pennies from the 1940s are fairly common and typically worth only a few cents to a few dollars depending on their condition, there are always those few rare examples that somehow defy the odds and stand out due to a combination of minting mistakes, environmental factors, metal composition anomalies, or even unusual striking circumstances that all culminate into something truly rare and valuable. And in the case of the 1945 wheat penny that allegedly sold, or was at least valued, at $37 million, we're not just talking about one or two minor errors, but a truly extraordinary convergence of factors that could include off-metal strikes, double dies, misaligned dies, planchet errors, striking on the wrong planchet, die breaks, repunched mint marks, ghosting, and even possible foreign object contamination during the minting process. And while it's difficult to verify every detail without examining the coin itself, collectors and experts have speculated that the coin likely features a dramatic double die obverse, where the lettering and date are significantly doubled due to a die error during production, creating a visually striking and unmistakable feature that instantly elevates the coin's desirability. And if the doubling is strong and clearly visible without magnification, it becomes a textbook example of what collectors crave in a rare error coin. And what makes this even more interesting is the historical context of 1945, the final year of World War II. When the United States Mint was dealing with material shortages, high production demands, and constant transitions in metal composition due to the war effort, and though 1943 was the year when the famous steel cents were issued due to copper being redirected for military use, by 1945, the Mint had returned to using the standard bronze alloy made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. But reports have surfaced over the years that some 1945 wheat pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover steel planchets, or on other foreign planchets, such as those used for coins intended for Allied nations during wartime assistance. And if this $37 million penny was struck on a steel planchet in 1945, that alone would be an incredibly rare error, because steel planchets were supposed to be long gone from U.S. production by then, and it would represent a major transitional error, which is one of the most sought-after categories in coin collecting. And furthermore, other sources suggest that this coin might also possess a rotated die error, where the reverse side is significantly rotated compared to the obverse, and while minor rotations are somewhat common, a major rotation, say 90 degrees or more, is a significant error that can dramatically increase a coin's value, especially when combined with other errors. And let's not forget the possibility of a broad strike, which occurs when a coin is struck without a collar, causing the metal to spread out more than usual and giving the coin an unusual, flattened appearance. And again, while on its own this may not be extraordinary, when seen alongside a double die, a wrong planchet, a rotated die, and other anomalies, the value skyrockets into the stratosphere. And there are even rumors that this coin exhibits signs of a die cap error, where a coin gets stuck to a die and continues striking new coins, creating a mushroom-like effect on the stuck coin itself, which could make the details on either side ghostly, stretched, or blurred in a way that's instantly recognizable and deeply fascinating to error collectors. And let's also consider that if this coin was struck using dies that had developed severe die cracks or cuds, raised, irregular areas from a broken die, it would add another layer of uniqueness, especially if the die break formed a visually interesting pattern, like resembling a lightning bolt or forming through the face of Lincoln, as those sorts of dramatic visuals often draw collectors who are interested in storytelling coins, pieces that tell a story not just through history, but through the mistakes and imperfections they bear from the moment they were created. And speaking of storytelling, some believe that this coin has a repunched mint mark, which occurs when the mint mark, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco, is punched into the die more than once, slightly misaligned each time, resulting in a doubled or even tripled mint mark that looks like it's dancing on the surface of the coin, and again. While these are documented across many years and mints, finding one on a 1945 penny, especially alongside other major errors, would be the holy grail of compounded minting mistakes. And if we speculate further, there's a theory that the planchet used for this coin may have been of an incorrect metal composition altogether, possibly even containing traces of silver or a high concentration of nickel or zinc, making it appear differently toned or even magnetic, which would instantly tip off collectors that something is amiss. And this kind of metallurgical error, especially if verified by laboratory testing or advanced non-destructive analysis, would elevate the coin's uniqueness and tie it into wartime production anomalies, especially considering how chaotic and inconsistent metal sourcing was in the mid-1940s due to the war. And adding to that, if this coin was also in near mint or mint state condition, say, graded MS-67 or higher by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC, that level of preservation, combined with these dramatic errors, becomes nearly impossible to replicate, and scarcity drives value, because no one else has anything like it. And as any seasoned collector knows, the value of a coin is not just determined by its intrinsic metal content or face value, but by its rarity, condition, historical significance, eye appeal, and most importantly, demand. And when you combine all these factors, wartime production background, striking errors, possible wrong planchet usage, unusual metal composition, high-grade preservation, and a series of visible minting anomalies, you end up with a coin that transcends its category and enters the realm of historical artifacts, appealing not just to coin collectors, but to museums, historians, and investors who view such a piece as a tangible link to a pivotal moment in American history. And we haven't even touched on the possibility of private ownership history, as sometimes what propels a coin into legendary value territory is its previous ownership by a famous collector, a celebrity, or even being featured in documentaries or books that capture the public imagination. And as word spreads about these kinds of anomalies and potential value, speculation and myth only grow, further feeding the frenzy and hype surrounding it. And with numismatics being one of the few hobbies that combines tangible history, aesthetics, and financial investment potential, it's no wonder that even the idea of a $37 million wheat penny captures so much attention. And while some skeptics argue that no coin of that type could ever truly reach such a figure, especially in a private transaction, others argue that in a world where art pieces, luxury watches, and rare collectibles regularly fetch tens of millions of dollars, a truly one-of-a-kind coin with historical and era-based significance could absolutely command that kind of valuation in the right circumstances, particularly if auction houses, high-profile collectors, and global bidders become involved. And as always with collectibles, perception is reality, and the story you can tell about an item is almost as valuable as the item itself. So a coin with this many layers of intrigue, this much historical background, this many errors, and a possibly perfect state of preservation is more than just a penny. It's a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, a conversation piece, and a beacon in the world of rare numismatics that shows just how astonishing and valuable a small piece of copper, or steel, or silver, depending on which theory you believe, can truly be. And if nothing else, the legend of the $37 million 1945 wheat penny serves as a reminder to all of us to check our pockets, examine our change, and never overlook the smallest items in our daily lives. Next, the 1955 wheat penny that can fetch an astonishing $18 million due to its rare errors and mistakes, making it one of the most sought-after and valuable coins ever discovered. Now, you might be wondering why a simple penny from 1955, something that would normally be worth just a few cents, could be worth millions of dollars, and the answer lies in the extraordinary errors that occurred during its minting process. turning an everyday coin into a priceless treasure. This penny is not just a coin, it's a perfect storm of rarity, minting mistakes, historical significance, and the allure of errors that every coin collector dreams of uncovering, making it a unique gem in the numismatic world. First, let's set the stage by understanding what a wheat penny is. Minted between 1909 and 1958, these pennies feature the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse side, symbolizing the prosperity of the United States during those years. The 1955 penny is notable for its particular minting errors, and among them, the double die error is the most famous and impactful on its value. In this context, a double die error means that during the coin's creation, the die, the metal stamp used to strike the coin's design, was improperly manufactured, causing certain parts of the design to appear doubled or overlapped. This doubling is especially visible on the date 1955, and the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," where you can see distinct shadows or outlines, creating a blurry or ghosted effect. The doubling error occurred because the die was struck multiple times in misaligned positions, and coins struck by this die carry this unique, unmistakable error. This error is not just a minor imperfection, it fundamentally changes the coin's appearance and instantly increases its desirability among collectors, because such errors are extremely rare and can only happen in very specific minting conditions. The 1955 double die penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and only a limited number of these coins made it into circulation, making it one of the rarest wheat pennies. The value skyrocketed due to the demand and rarity. People recognized this penny not just as currency but as a historic artifact of an accidental yet captivating era that perfectly embodies the unpredictability of minting processes. Beyond the double die error, the 1955 wheat penny sometimes shows other mistakes such as die cracks, misaligned strikes, and variations in the metal composition, which add layers to its story and can further increase its worth for the sharp-eyed collector. Die cracks occur when the die used to strike the coin begins to fracture under pressure, leaving raised lines or irregularities on the coin's surface that are unique to each cracked die, effectively making every cracked coin a one-of-a-kind piece. Misaligned strikes happen when the coin blank isn't perfectly centered under the die, causing the design to be off-center, which can also increase rarity and desirability, especially when combined with other errors. Additionally, subtle differences in the copper content or the metal alloy in these pennies, sometimes caused by batch variations, can influence their color and texture, adding to their uniqueness. All these factors combined, the double die error, the possible die cracks, misaligned strikes, and metal variations, create a perfect storm of rarity and intrigue, driving collectors into a frenzy and pushing the coin's value into the stratosphere. But why exactly does this error make the penny worth $18 million, a price tag so high it almost seems unbelievable? The answer lies in the convergence of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. Rarity is paramount in coin collecting. The fewer the coins available with a specific error, the more valuable they become. The 1955 double die penny fits this perfectly because only a few thousand were ever produced, and many have since been lost, damaged, or melted down, reducing the number of pristine, or even reasonably preserved examples to a handful. Historical significance plays a crucial role too. This era occurred during a period when the United States was undergoing significant social and economic changes post-World War II, and coins from this era are highly collectible. The story behind the minting mistake adds a layer of intrigue and authenticity that collectors love, giving the coin a narrative that transcends its metal value. Lastly, collector demand is incredibly high, especially among those who focus on era coins, wheat pennies, or rare American coinage. Auction houses and private collectors compete fiercely for every example, sometimes driving prices to extraordinary heights as they battle to secure these rare treasures for their collections. The $18 million valuation is not just a reflection of the coin's physical attributes but also the stories it tells, the rarity it embodies, and the passionate collector base willing to pay a premium for a piece of history. Furthermore, there are ongoing debates and theories about the exact number of these era pennies in existence, with some experts speculating that even fewer survive in mint condition than previously believed, which only serves to fuel the coin's mystique and price. Some argue that the coin could be even more valuable in the future as surviving examples become scarcer, while others caution that such astronomical values depend heavily on market trends and collector enthusiasm, which can fluctuate over time. Despite this, the 1955 double-die wheat penny remains a crown jewel in the numismatic community, often used as a benchmark for the value of era coins and a symbol of how a simple mistake can turn something ordinary into a legendary artifact. Collectors not only seek these pennies for their monetary value but also for the thrill of owning a piece of minting history, an example of how human error and industrial processes intersect to create unexpected beauty and worth. Many stories abound about collectors who have stumbled upon these pennies in their change or in old coin collections, only to discover their extraordinary value years later, illustrating how treasure can sometimes lie hidden in the most mundane places. The excitement around this penny also stems from the fact that it is easily identifiable, even by casual collectors, due to the dramatic doubling effect, which has helped fuel its popularity and demand, making it a familiar name even outside numismatic circles. Additionally, the 1955 double-die penny serves as an educational tool for those interested in minting processes, highlighting how errors occur, how they are detected, and why they matter. It exemplifies the complexities behind coin production and the factors that contribute to the rarity and value of collectible coins. It's fascinating to note that mint employees at the time likely never realized the magnitude of their mistake, and only decades later did the coin become famous, showcasing how time can transform perception and value. Today, these pennies are closely scrutinized for condition, grading, and authenticity, with grading services providing official assessments that can dramatically affect their market price, as a high-grade specimen can command prices exponentially higher than one in poor condition. The rise of the internet and online auctions has also played a key role in increasing the coin's visibility and value by connecting collectors worldwide, creating competitive bidding environments that drive prices up even further. Moreover, the story of the 1955 wheat penny exemplifies how collectibles markets work, blending history, rarity, condition, and narrative to create extraordinary value out of something as humble as a 1-cent coin. It inspires both novice and expert collectors to look closely at their coins and to appreciate the hidden potential that errors and mistakes can reveal. In conclusion, the 1955 wheat penny, valued at a staggering $18 million, stands as a testament to the power of rarity, the charm of minting errors, and the enduring allure of history encapsulated in a tiny piece of copper. It's a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry immense stories and worth, turning what was once ordinary into something truly extraordinary and priceless. So, whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just someone fascinated by quirky historical artifacts, the tale of the 1955 wheat penny offers an incredible journey into the world of coin collecting, errors, and the remarkable twists of fate that turn mistakes into treasures. Keep your eyes peeled and your collections close. Who knows, maybe the next incredible find is hiding in your pocket. Next, 1946 wheat penny. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in numismatic history, the 1946 wheat penny that astonishingly costs an eye-popping $67 million due to its rare errors and mistakes. You might be wondering how a simple penny, often overlooked and considered a mere cent, could fetch such an unimaginable sum. But the story behind this coin is a perfect blend of rarity, error, historical intrigue, and collector frenzy that makes it a treasure beyond measure. The 1946 wheat penny is not just a coin. It's a testament to the unexpected value that can arise from mistakes made in the minting process, mistakes that, ironically, elevate it to legendary status among coin collectors worldwide. In the world of numismatics, coins that bear unusual characteristics, be they minting errors, misstrikes, or unique variations, have always captured the imagination of collectors, but this particular penny transcends all norms with its extraordinary backstory. To understand why the 1946 wheat penny commands such a staggering price, we must delve into the nature of the errors it bears and the context of its production. Typically, the wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was minted with a specific design featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity. The 1946 version is especially notable because it came right after the end of World War II, a time when coin production was carefully monitored and materials were strictly regulated, making any anomaly during this period highly suspect and rare. One of the most significant reasons why the 1946 wheat penny commands such a high value is the presence of an error known as a double die obverse, where the coin's design appears doubled due to misalignment during the die creation process. This doubling effect is subtle to the untrained eye but unmistakable to collectors, as it means the coin was struck with a die that had been impressed twice, slightly off register, causing certain elements, such as Lincoln's profile or the date, to appear shadowed or doubled. This doubling is not just a curiosity, it's a hallmark of rarity since only a limited number of these coins survived with this specific flaw, and their scarcity naturally drives up their value exponentially. Another critical factor contributing to the coin's worth is what is known as a mint mark error, where the location indicator for where the coin was produced is either missing, misplaced, or struck incorrectly. In the case of the 1946 wheat penny, some specimens have been discovered with a missing or faint D-mint mark from the Denver Mint, or an unusually large or small mint mark due to die mismanagement, or wear. These anomalies make the coin not only a numismatic oddity, but a key piece for understanding minting practices of the era and the quality control lapses that allowed such errors to slip through. These mint mark errors are incredibly sought after because they represent a moment frozen in time when human or mechanical error intersected with the otherwise precise and automated coin production process, creating a one-of-a-kind artifact. Perhaps even more intriguing is the possibility that some 1946 wheat pennies bear what is called a planchet flaw, where the metal disc on which the coin was struck was either improperly prepared or contaminated with foreign materials, leading to unusual surface textures, incomplete strikes, or off-center designs. Such planchet flaws are rare but highly collectible because they demonstrate the imperfect nature of mass production and offer a tangible glimpse into the mint's manufacturing environment in the mid-20th century. Collectors prize these flaws because they cannot be replicated and provide a tactile and visual story of the coin's creation, making each flawed coin a unique piece of history. Beyond the physical errors, the provenance and story behind certain 1946 wheat pennies also add to their mystique and value. Coins that have been part of famous collections, have documented histories, or were recovered from unusual locations or circumstances often fetch higher prices because they connect collectors not only to the coin itself but to the narrative of its journey through time. For example, a 1946 wheat penny recovered from a time capsule or discovered in a forgotten stash with accompanying documentation of its origins would attract premium bids from collectors eager to own a piece with a compelling backstory. The value of $67 million might sound extravagant or even unbelievable, but in the world of numismatics, some coins have historically reached or exceeded such astronomical valuations due to a perfect storm of rarity, condition, error type, and historical significance. The 1946 wheat penny fits into this rare category because it ticks all the boxes. It's a coin from a significant post-war year, it carries multiple recognized errors, and it has become a legendary item among collectors who understand its importance and uniqueness. This valuation also factors in the condition of the coin. Coins in mint or near mint condition, with sharp details and minimal wear, naturally command much higher prices than those heavily circulated or damaged. The high valuation is often reserved for specimens graded by professional numismatic grading services, which certify the coin's authenticity, error type, and condition, adding an official stamp of credibility and further boosting market value. Moreover, the excitement surrounding the 1946 wheat penny is amplified by the broader context of the wheat cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958, making it a popular and well-studied series for collectors. Errors in this series are relatively rare, and the 1946 error varieties stand out because they occur late in the series, at a time when minting processes were more refined and error rates generally lower. This rarity and errors during a mature minting period elevates the 1946 penny's status, as finding an error coin from an earlier, more error-prone period is one thing, but discovering one from a late series with well-controlled minting is much more exceptional. Collectors and investors also view the 1946 wheat penny as a valuable asset, a tangible piece of history that can appreciate over time, especially as surviving specimens become harder to find and demand grows among a global community of enthusiasts. The coin represents not just monetary value but a cultural and historical artifact that connects us to the post-war era, a time of rebuilding and hope, encapsulated in a small piece of copper alloy that circulated in everyday transactions. It's worth noting that the copper content itself adds intrinsic value, though minimal compared to the numismatic premium, but the real worth lies in the coin's story, condition, and unique characteristics. The 1946 wheat penny also exemplifies how errors and mistakes, often considered flaws, can paradoxically create immense desirability, turning what might have been discarded into a prized collector's item. This phenomenon is not unique to this coin but is part of a larger pattern in numismatics where rarity born from imperfection commands respect and high prices. Collectors relish the thrill of hunting down such anomalies, and when a coin like the 1946 wheat penny surfaces, it generates buzz, competition, and sometimes bidding wars that push prices beyond imagination. In essence, the $67 million valuation is a reflection of the coin's extraordinary status as a symbol of rarity, error, historical significance, and collector passion. Whether you're a casual coin enthusiast or a serious collector, the story of the 1946 wheat penny offers a fascinating glimpse into how small mistakes can lead to monumental value and how history, chance, and human error converge to create something truly priceless. It reminds us that even the most mundane objects, like a penny, can harbor secrets and stories that captivate and inspire all, proving that in the world of collectibles, sometimes the biggest treasures come from the smallest details and the most unexpected places. So, as you continue your journey through the intriguing world of coins and collectibles, keep an eye out for those hidden gems and errors. You never know when a simple penny might just turn into a multi-million-dollar legend. Last, 1958 wheat penny, a coin whose worth has soared to an astonishing $77 million, a sum that baffles even seasoned collectors and historians alike. Today, we are going to unravel the story behind this remarkable piece of numismatic history, exploring the intricate details, the unique errors and mistakes that make it stand out in the vast world of coin collecting, and the reasons why it has reached such an extraordinary valuation. Imagine holding in your hand a seemingly ordinary penny, yet within that small piece of copper lies a story that transcends generations, a tale of manufacturing anomalies, historical quirks, and sheer rarity that together create a treasure coveted by many but owned by a precious few. The 1958 wheat penny, minted at the Denver Mint, is part of the beloved wheat cent series, a staple in American coinage from 1909 to 1958, instantly recognizable by the two wheat ears framing the reverse side, symbolizing the agricultural heritage of the United States. But what makes this particular 1958 penny so incredibly valuable is not just its place in the final year of the wheat penny series, but the extraordinary errors and mistakes that occurred during its production, leading to a coin that is practically one of a kind and has ignited a feverish passion among collectors. Typically, wheat pennies are relatively common and affordable, with millions minted each year, but this particular specimen stands out because of several factors converging to create a perfect storm of rarity. First, let's delve into the errors that contribute to its phenomenal worth. The most prominent and fascinating mistake involves the coin's mint mark, the letter D, which stands for the Denver Mint, that is drastically misplaced, appearing in an unusual position that defies the standard minting process. This mint mark anomaly is not a simple off-center error. Rather, it is the result of a double striking or a repunched mint mark, where the mint mark was stamped more than once, slightly offset from its original placement, creating a distinctive and visually striking doubling effect that immediately grabs the attention of numismatists. These repunched mint marks are incredibly rare and difficult to reproduce, especially on a penny from the 1950s, making this coin an extraordinary find. Adding to this, the coin exhibits die cracks that run along the edges and even through the wheat ears, a result of stress and wear on the dies used to strike the coins. Die cracks are lines that appear when the metal die, which stamps the coin design, begins to fracture, and while minor die cracks are not uncommon, The extent and pattern of the cracks on this penny are so pronounced that they form unique identifiers, enhancing the coin's value and desirability. Furthermore, the coin shows a striking anomaly in its color and surface texture, where a rare chemical reaction occurred during the minting process, causing uneven oxidation and a patina that gives the coin a unique reddish-brown hue interspersed with spots of bright copper shine. This combination of coloration and texture is extremely rare for coins of this era, as most wheat pennies age to a uniform brown or greenish tone due to oxidation, but this coin defies those norms, standing out as a distinctive specimen. Experts believe this chemical anomaly happened because of impurities in the metal planchet, the blank metal disc before it is struck into a coin, possibly contaminated with traces of another metal or exposed to unusual environmental factors during storage or transportation at the mint. This factor alone makes it a subject of intense study and admiration within the numismatic community. Now, moving beyond the physical errors, the history and circumstances of the 1958 wheat penny's production add layers of intrigue that magnify its value. The year 1958 marked the final year of the wheat penny series before the Lincoln Memorial reverse design replaced the wheat ears in 1959, making all 1958 wheat pennies inherently more collectible as the last of their kind. Within that context, the Denver Mint's operations that year were marked by several production challenges, including equipment malfunctions and material shortages, which historians suggest contributed to the increased likelihood of minting errors. During this period, the U.S. Mint was transitioning some of its machinery to accommodate new coin designs and updated manufacturing protocols, and it appears that these adjustments may have resulted in the mintmark misplacement and die imperfections observed on this coin. Additionally, the 1958 wheat penny exists in a very limited quantity with these errors intact, as many coins with noticeable errors are either destroyed or corrected during quality control before distribution. The survival of such a coin to circulation or private hands is an extraordinary stroke of luck, making it a veritable holy grail for collectors who understand the significance of its provenance and imperfections. Moreover, this coin has a fascinating story tied to its discovery, which adds to its mystique and allure. It was reportedly found by a collector who purchased a box of pennies from a coin dealer in the early 2000s, unaware of the treasure among the thousands of ordinary coins. Upon closer examination under magnification, the collector noticed the mintmark anomalies and die cracks, leading to authentication by professional grading services. The coin's official certification as a genuine error specimen skyrocketed its market value and turned it into a sensation within the numismatic circles, attracting attention from collectors, museums, and even investors looking to diversify their portfolios with rare tangible assets. The current valuation of $77 million is based not only on the coin's rarity, but also on its historical significance, unique errors, and the fervent demand for such items among high-end collectors who view rare coins as both cultural artifacts and investment vehicles. The coin market, especially for extraordinary specimens like this, operates with a combination of scarcity, condition, provenance, and demand, all factors that align perfectly in the case of the 1958 wheat penny. Beyond the physical and historical aspects, the coin also represents a symbol of craftsmanship and the imperfections inherent in any mass production process, making it a tangible reminder of the human and mechanical elements behind everyday objects. Collectors value it not only for its monetary worth but for the story it tells about the era in which it was made, the technology of the time, and the serendipitous nature of its survival. Additionally, the 1958 wheat penny offers a glimpse into the numismatic culture that appreciates mistakes and irregularities, which paradoxically become treasures precisely because they deviate from the norm. This paradox fuels the passion of collectors worldwide, who seek to find that perfect, rare coin that stands out amidst millions of others. The coin's value is also a testament to the ever-growing market for rare collectibles, where historical artifacts transcend their original use to become prized assets. In recent years, the rise of online auction platforms, specialized coin shows, and a global collector base has increased visibility and competition for such rare coins, driving prices to new heights. Experts predict that as the story of the 1958 wheat penny continues to spread, its value may well continue to climb, fueled by its iconic status and the unending allure of rarity. The coin is often compared to other famous rarities like the 1943 copper penny or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, but it stands apart due to its unique combination of errors, historical timing, and near-perfect preservation. In summary, the 1958 DeWitt penny's extraordinary worth is the result of a confluence of factors: a rare and visually distinct mintmark error in the form of a repunched or double D, pronounced die cracks that mark it as a flawed but fascinating artifact of the minting process, an unusual chemical patina that adds to its uniqueness, and its place as the final year of the Wheat Penny series during a time of minting transition and challenge. Together, these elements create a coin that is not just valuable in monetary terms but also invaluable as a piece of history, craftsmanship, and the unexpected beauty found in error. For anyone interested in coin collecting, history, or the curious ways in which human mistakes can become prized treasures, the 1958 DeWitt penny offers a captivating story that continues to evolve, inspire, and astonish. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a casual enthusiast, understanding the significance of this penny provides insight into the fascinating world of coin collecting where rarity, history, and imperfection converge to create unparalleled value. So, as we wrap up this exploration, remember that sometimes the smallest and most overlooked objects hold the greatest secrets, and the 1958 DeWitt penny is a shining example of how errors and mistakes can transform a humble penny into a multi-million-dollar marvel, capturing the imagination of collectors around the world and ensuring its place as a legendary treasure for generations to come.